So we're going to jump right in. Good evening, sunshine, OPA, to the greatest OPA team. Hello, everybody. I get the honor to do the January OPA call when everybody is excited about the new year and has all these great plans and focused on success. And this time they're going to do it uh, all the ways and gonna apply themselves and have a successful year. So we're excited. It's always fun to have a new beginning because what was, but we can predict and control what we do from now on. So a lot of different stuff going on in Shackley, but we're gonna be covering a very interesting topic with our special guest speaker. I'm very excited about it, and I think you're really gonna go away with a lot of valuable information, and you're going to be telling people to listen to this call on the recording. It's going to be really a mind opener and a lot of good insight. So I just want to say before I do the official introduction for Daniela, I am very, I would say, lucky and privileged. Um, in Shackley, it's kind of interesting. We never know who the next person on our team will be because it's not about me. It's about who will speak to whom, will share with whom, will share with whom. And it's just amazing. So I'm thankful for that, for uh, people on my team that are sharing the gift of Shackley. I want to give a shout out to, of course, Pessy Herzl. She is the head of the group, the key coordinator in this group. Sarah Tseek out of Montreal. Hi, Sarah. Uh, she has been in Shackley for many years and she persevered. And then you end up to meeting people that you didn't think originally would be part of your Shackley team. And she met Devora Cranes, which Devora is a friend from uh, seminary, which is like college after high school. And then Devora referred Lala from Los Angeles, and then Lala attracted Daniela, um, which she also lives in the outskirts of Los Angeles. And all our best wishes to all the people that are being affected by the fire. Um, uh, the school schedule is not as usual, and lots of people are being evacuated from their homes. So, God help that protect all the people, and this fire should contain itself very quickly and get rid of it with God's help. So, just some wishes for the people on our team that live there and that are going through this. Daniela is not just the regular woman that we meet. Everyone is special, but Daniela comes with a higher education. We don't have another such a person on our team, and I feel very privileged and honored to work with Daniela. And although she has this title, which originally I didn't even know how much schooling you need to be a registered dietitian, um, she's also so humble and so coachable and so special to work with. And I really appreciate you, Daniela, and she will answer our questions or anything to what she can be helpful to. So thanks for taking the time. I know by me it's 8:30, but by her it's still supper time. It's 5:30 in the evening, so she took away time from her girls. And again, we really appreciate it. So thank you, Daniela, for being on our team and working together with us. We're honored and appreciate it. Now I'll do the official titling, the official introduction. Daniela Dre is a registered dietitian specializing in wellness group programs, health education counseling, longevity nutrition, and bioenergy testing. And she has been with Shackley for 6 years. Her passion for longevity lifestyle has prompted her to create the longevity plan, which she's going to be talking about today, which is really very interesting and you're going to like it. A lifestyle of longevity program around the Shaklee product. Today, she will share an aspect of her program that promotes hormesis, how moderate intermittent stresses can make your body more resilient by activating survival mechanisms. She will go on to discuss how she was selected to be part of a Shaklee beta group to determine how lifestyle interventions are working and to bring Shaklee's products to the forefront of healthcare in private practice settings such as her own. So here you go, Daniela. I'm giving it away to you. We're excited to hear what you have to share with us.
Thank you so much, Shifra. Wow, that was such a sweet introduction. I do myself also feel very privileged to be on the team and have such fantastic leaders. I'm learning so much from you guys, and it's great that we can share our skill set together and grow. Um, so, yes, we are here in LA, and I thank you so much for sending your prayers. Thank God we are safe, but it has been a little crazy here. And thank God my kids are back in school and they're home tonight. So, hopefully, they're going to behave so I can get through this call with you because I have such great information I want to share with you that can impact your health for many years to come. So, just to get into it, a little background, like sharing preventative and restorative health has been a passion of mine for quite some time. And as we get older, we learn to appreciate life's delicacies and beauty, and who doesn't want to spend more time witnessing like miracles and wonders of the world and just like interact with my future grandkids, God willing. So it's not just about living a long life. We want to have what we call a long health span. So living healthy and youthful longer than a traditional life expectancy. So I don't know if you guys can guess what is the average year for adults in the United States. It may shock you. Are the slides working, Shifra?
Yes, you want me to move?
Yeah, can you do the one with like the first image? Back, yeah, there we go. So this kind of explains health span versus lifespan. So this may shock you. On average, for men and women, the U.S. adult average lifespan is 77 years. So, but that's fairly young. We have our grandkids around. We have many years ahead of us. So if we can extend that and have years of being disease-free, this is our goal. So lifespan is the total numbers of years we live, where health span is how many of those years we remain healthy and free from disease. So if you think about it, if aging is like the central risk factor for all major diseases, then I think you would agree it'd be much easier to intervene on aging than to prevent and treat diseases, one by one. Next slide. So if you think about it this way, if we can address the hallmarks of aging, then we can slow down aging. If we can do that, we forestall disease, we push it back, and that way, and we push back death. So we're extending our lifespan. As we age, there's certain signaling pathways. If you want to be specific, there's something called AMPK that works with like sugar and carbs. There's something called sirtuins, ADP, and there's NADH. These are pathways. And then there's like bodily structures like collagen and muscles that decline with age, right? And so what happens with these changes, it grays our hair, it slows metabolism, creates inflammation, and it also leaves you feeling very low energy. These are all hallmarks of aging. So as we age, you'll see people are slower, right? Because they're not producing their ATP in their mitochondria as well. They have more inflammation, aches and pains. They're not able to metabolize the same way, and the hair turns gray. So studies have shown that like what we eat and when we eat might be one of the most important lifestyle modifications that we can make to significantly increase our health span. We've heard a lot about the blue zones and the centenarians. If you guys haven't watched the documentary on Netflix, I highly recommend it. It's an amazing, eye-opening film. It's in like a few series. But the study of the centenarians, which are those in regions who live to 100, epidemiology and like research, clinical trials, they've all recognized that certain foods, such as like sugars and proteins, amino acids, they affect genes and pathways that can accelerate aging. So there's a pathway that has to do with amino acids called mTOR. I mentioned AMPK, which is glucose and carbs, and the sirtuins. Anyways, not to get too into the science of all that, but basically to maximize and reprogram longevity in the human body, we need to learn to eat differently and implement lifestyle changes. So you compare diet modification through nutrient-dense foods and supplements rich in like phytochemicals, polyphenols, antioxidants, and these things protect the cells, they repair DNA, and that's how you rejuvenate and regenerate on a cellular level. But that's just half the picture, right? So data proves that if you change your habits wisely, you can literally switch on longevity pathways via diet and supplements, but also the biggest culprit is lifestyle habits. And that's what we're going to discuss today, and I'm going to be getting to in a little bit. So these lifestyle habits in conjunction with the diet, the supplements, you can live a long, healthy life. So before we go any further, I just want to talk about a few keywords. You know, I mentioned the word sirtuin a couple times, and what happens when they're activated. So first of all, what are sirtuins? If anyone's heard of this, there are about 7 sirtuins that are called by SIRT1, SIRT2, SIRT3. And these are known as like the longevity genes because they have the ability to literally turn genes on or off as needed. And that plays a role in what we call gene expression. So during times of perceived stress, sirtuins are called to action. They repair DNA instability. Okay, so sirtuin activating compounds is an abbreviation. It's called STACs. So sirtuin activating compounds. You guys all know the most famous Shaklee one. It's Vivix. Vivix is not promoted as this, but this is what Vivix actually is. It's a sirtuin activating compound. Same with resveratrol. Resveratrol is part of Vivix. It's also in a lot of our products. Quercetin. Quercetin is in triple defense boost. All of these sirtuin activating compounds can improve DNA. Improve DNA repair. They boost memory. They reduce inflammation. They improve energy metabolism in the mitochondria, which is like the powerhouse of the cell. And all of these things are the hallmarks of aging. So the second part to sirtuins is increasing cellular NAD levels. And NAD, not to be confused with NAC. Okay, NAC is in Vitalizer Gold. The gold products have it. But NAD supplementation, we don't have NAD supplementation, but we have the precursor, which is B3. Okay, so like the B vitamins. So B3 precursor, they enhance the activity of all sirtuins. So to improve metabolic function, increase longevity, or some say lifespan extension. That's another way to say it. Okay, so we understand what sirtuins are. Now let's talk about a very important phenomenon called autophagy. Oh, let me talk about this like right here on this before I go further. This just talks about some of the Vivix, the products in the Life Strip, which was the landmark study was based on. And you can see it has the B vitamins, it has the Vivix, so this product right here is exceptional for longevity. And then there's the turmeric extract, which we're going to get into. That's also something that's going to support longevity. Okay, so what is autophagy? It's a Latin term. It means literally self-eating. Okay, it's a natural process by which our bodies renew itself. think of it like Pac-Man, like something just coming and eat all the junk, all the like misfolded proteins, all the cellular debris, things floating around, things that shouldn't be there, things that are just like damaged and need to like clean up space. So as our cells age, they become more susceptible to damage, and they accumulate harmful substances called free radicals. And that's where autophagy enters. It's our body's mechanism for breaking down and recycling these old dysfunctional components. And this helps reduce oxidative stress and the risk of age-related disease. So the ability to carry out this process is believed to decline as we get older. And this is what contributes to the aging process. However, there are a few ways to induce autophagy and to maximize the health benefits, such as like lower oxidative stress, reduce inflammation, improve hormone balance, insulin sensitivity, and like the removal of all these damaged dysfunctional cells. So how do we induce autophagy? These are the 5 practices. Next slide. Okay, great. So I have listed for you here in the middle. These are the top 5 practices that induce autophagy. Number 1 is fasting. Whether this is intermittent fasting, doing a circadian fast, like a 12-hour break, a 14-hour break of digestion, eating less, so being in a calorie deficit is actually number 2. So we want calorie restriction, but we don't want to be malnourished. Okay, so this is key. So you need to be able to have both to be, in a healthy state. Think about like cleanse week, for example. Cleanse week is very low calorie, but you're bombarded with nutrition. Okay, that's why it's a detox program. Basically, you're doing cellular cleanup also from the diet. Number 3 is exercise. Okay, you could do strength training and also HIIT. HIIT stands for high intensity interval training. Okay. Next is hormesis, which is the topic of tonight, and we're going to dive into that a little bit more. And then the 5th aspect is supplements, our favorite subject here at Shaklee. Okay, so let's get into it. So activating hormesis, as Shifra mentioned, this is a survival mechanism. And in the field of biology, and medicine, hormesis is defined as like an adaptive response of cells and organisms to a moderate intermittent stress. So when your body is stressed a little bit, but not too much, it responds by becoming more resilient. So to help you understand this phenomenon, let's take a few examples and you get like a clearer picture. So for example, you're lifting weights that can tear muscles, but as a result, you're also building muscles, what makes you stronger. But if you over-exercise, it can lead to injury. Similarly, let's say cold plunges, it activates healing, but you could also die from hypothermia. Okay, the stress of food scarcity, if your body thinks it's not going to be getting a meal, you're either doing some intermittent fasting or your calories are low, this activates longevity, which is a bonus, which is a plus. But if you don't eat enough and you experience nutrient deficiencies, you can have disease or death. So hopefully you get the picture. Basically, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? You guys have all heard this. And that's what makes you more resilient. So let's go into like hormesis. What are some examples of that? How can we activate these longevity lifestyle skills? So like I mentioned before, resistant exercise, because you're tearing muscles and you're building it back up. That adds stress to your body. Same with HIIT. Actually, can you go to did I put this on the next slide, I think? Yes, on the top. Okay, so I have it bulleted up there for you. So I might have done a typo, but it's HIIT, high interval training. So this also causes you to like kind of huff and puff, and like oxygen may be decreased, which is also a stress on the body, which I'm going to go into detail too. Number 2, dietary restrictions. So think about cleanse week. 5-day reset. We're in a calorie deficit. People who follow 2 meals and 1 snack per day, and then just like time restricted eating if you're doing, a 12 to 14 to 16-hour fast. I usually recommend a 12-hour fast, which is called circadian fasting. You're basically going from like sun up to sundown. So that looks like 8 a.m. You have your meal until 8 p.m. After 8 p.m., that's it. You're on a fasting mode. From there on, it's just water and herbal tea. Exposure to hot and cold temperatures. So why cold plunge is so great? It creates what we call brown fat in the back of your shoulders. And this increases your metabolism. It triggers autophagy. It reduces inflammation. And then the sauna is great for fixing damaged proteins. So, just a little bit, but not too much. That's what they mean by intermittent stress. The next thing is called breath work or hypoxia. Okay. This is basically controlled breathing exercises to temporarily reduce oxygen levels. So it sounds crazy, but we do it all the time. We're taking deep breaths, holding your breath, and like having a deep exhalation. This basically boosts your natural nitric oxide levels, promoting better blood flow and oxygen once you normal breathing resumes. Okay, so in yoga classes, you do a lot of this when you want to calm down your central nervous system. And then we have the opposite, which is a hyperbaric oxygen therapy. This is exposing your body to intermittent periods of high oxygen levels. So under this increased atmospheric pressure. So you can't do this from home. You usually have to go to somewhere that specializes in that. And this triggers like protective responsive, like enhancing your mitochondria function, autophagy, anti-inflammatory effects. Yet another one, we have red light therapy. This induces hormesis by exposing cells to like low levels of stress through like specific wavelengths of light. So you have blue light, red light, basically it penetrates the skin and it impacts the mitochondria. And this enhances ATP production. So ATP is the powerhouse. That's what gives you all the energy. So along with detoxification, autophagy, and of course, people do red light therapy like on their face. You see people wearing that mask on their face. It's because it helps with collagen and tissue regeneration. So perfect for aging. Lastly, we have supplements and phytochemicals. So some supplements that work to activate or trigger like hormesis is curcumin. So like in turmeric boost, caffeine, EGCGs. We had that in our Shaklee 180 drinks, and a lot of our products have green tea extract. Fistine is actually potent in strawberries, but it could be in supplement form. Polyphenols, Vivix, quercetin, resveratrol. Sulforaphane is basically the extract from broccoli and cruciferous vegetables, which is in like our greens powder. And then you have stuff like mushroom bases like cordyceps and reishi. That's in what's it called? The core energy products, and also triple defense boost. And then there's some other products that Shaklee doesn't have, but it's called berberine, which is basically like we call it poor man's metformin, and spermidide. So these are some, great products to look into. So as you can see, like all these controlled stresses yield greater resilience and improved health outcomes. So just a little bit, not too much in periods. So clearly incorporating all of this in your life would be like really overwhelming and also could be very expensive. So instead, I just suggest you find a couple that you enjoy and just like slowly incorporate them into your daily or weekly routine. And so I wrote for you here on the chart, what does hormesis look like in day-to-day life? It could be as simple as this. You incorporate a 12 to 14-hour fast a few days of the week, and just follow circadian fasting, especially if you're still menstruating. I would recommend just following the 12-12 and not fasting right before your period. And then taking a cold shower or a hot bath would be something feasible to do. I love this one. It's really important to seek colorful and organic produce whenever possible. Why organic produce? Because they attract pests. Okay, when they're sprayed with the like pesticides, it takes away from their natural defenses. So when they have pest on them, which is a stressor, right? As it stresses the plant, it causes higher production of their own protective compounds. So organic produce has higher levels of antioxidants, polyphenols, and flavonoids. So we want to promote eating a rich nutrient salad every day, which includes sprouts and greens, mushrooms, onions, tomatoes. I don't know if you guys have heard of the term G bombs. This was a term made by Dr. Furman. It stands for greens, beans, onions, mushroom. I'm sorry. Yeah. Greens, beans, onion, mushroom, berries, and seeds. Seeds and nuts is like the same category. So you can remember this acronym. You want to live by this. You want to include a lot of these foods every day. These are the phytonutrient foods to help trigger hormesis. And of course, your supplements, which we discussed. Take your Life Strip, turmeric extract, Vivix. Vivix is available in the kosher formula and the regular formula. They both have resveratrol, triple defense boost. You have Energy Tea. So we have a lot of great products. Do strength training for 30 minutes, 3 times a week. Okay. I think that's something we can all commit to. And, if you're not there yet, you build up towards it. You can use blue light glasses when you're scrolling in bed. That really helps to block, the light that you don't need. That helps, it makes it difficult for you to fall asleep. And then if you can try, you can buy them on Amazon. There's a lot of places. They have home red light therapy devices. I've seen belts that you can wear. I've seen tents that you can put around. There's the one for the face. And then seek a sauna or steam room as often as you can. Some gyms have it. Some, recreational buildings have it. You can go, to like a lot of, so just seek it. It's easier found than you probably would realize. So in the end, aging is an undeniable part of life, right? So we're chronologically aging every second. I think what we have to understand is we don't have to accept that aging means a decline of health as we age. So we may not be able to, change our genes, but we can control what genes are expressed on or off. And that's incredible. So that's why they say genes load the gun, but it's your lifestyle that pulls the trigger. So by eating foods rich in phytonutrients, following an anti-inflammatory diet, exercising, doing a little bit of fasting, employing intermittent stresses, which we just spoke about, hormesis to the body, you can change your life's trajectory so your health span can equal your lifespan. And so this is all great. Now we know the how and the what to do, but now how do we know it's all working, right? How do you know all of your efforts are paying off? So there's been a lot of advances in science and longevity research that allows us to actually measure our biological age. It's so cool. So biological age tells us how rapidly or slowly our internal clock is aging. And this is all through the measurements of your telomeres, right? The end caps of your DNA. You want to think of them as the plastic tip of your shoelace, okay? Shackley talks about telomeres all the time. Roger Barnett has talked about that. This is basically what's behind developing Vivix. And so measuring your telomere length is a good biomarker for how fast you're aging. So remember this, the longer the telomere, the longer your health span. And you can test it in different ways. They have some commercial labs. You can just search, saliva and blood tests. There's something called DNA methylation that also is called gene tagging. But there's yet another way to determine if your lifestyle is working. And it's through a test I personally did myself and I'm now offering. It's called bioresonance or bioenergy testing. And a fun little backstory on this. this kind of just like fell in my lap. It's really cool. So I was selected by a committee approved by Roger Barnett to be part of a Shackley's health professional beta group to determine like how bioenergy testing can help bring the Shackley products to the forefront of healthcare and like private settings. So for like, different types of doctors, DOs, basically anyone who's in the healthcare scene who has clients who are selling products in their practice. This was for us to see like how we can bring it to the forefront. And so this opened a whole new way for me to help my clients on a more like cellular level, as well as like pinpoint the exact remedies and supplements that so cool that it's energetically matched that person tested. Actually, the first person I tested after myself was Shifra. She was like, I want to try it. And Shifra, do you want to talk about your experience a little bit with bioenergy testing and how it worked for you? And then I can go into.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I love experimenting new things, and I wouldn't recommend something to my customer that I didn't try myself, right? This is Shackley people. Like, we walk the walk, we talk the talk. We're not telling anybody to take supplements we don't take ourselves, right? So when Daniela told me that she was part of the beta group that Roger approved, I believe like 12 practitioners in Shackley, I felt honored, that Daniela, one of my colleagues, is part of this. And I'm like, I'll do the testing. Send me the information and and let's get started on it. And it's amazing. Like, I was really blown away about how they exactly identified all my problems. Like, you know, um, it's the little things, overall, I'm thankful to God that I'm healthy, but we all have those little things that we deal with. And also the age, depending what we're going through, different ages and stages. But so it was very interesting to see the clarity of how the report came back and what it said that was so clear of which organs need improvement, where I'm doing very well, which nutrients I'm doing well in, where I'm falling short, which wasn't too many. But what was very interesting to me was they also do environmental. So in my environmental came up EMF. I don't know if any of you's heard of EMF, but it's something like rays from the different things we are, like the computer I'm looking at now and the internet that's going, we are exposed to this. And my body is very sensitive to this. So it came up high. The EMF environmental like sensitivity came up high for me. And how did it affect me? I was having terrible sinuses every morning. I woke up so congested, and I take 6 Karate a day, and I take all the stuff like this shouldn't be happening, right? But there are environmental things around us that we don't know. I was charging my phone next to my bed, next to my head, and those rays were working all night to me, and it came up EMF causing sinuses. That is mind blowing. Like, that is information that we don't know. So I can take 10 Karate, but if my phone is charged next to my head, I might still have sinuses and I work all day to get rid of it. So I sit next to the main Wi-Fi in my house, like where all the wires come in. I feel like it's bothering my feet, like I'm having inflammation from it. So thank God there are solutions. Like, first, I charge my phone out of my room. Nothing is in my bedroom anymore. So that's good. And number two, I have some special things here in my office next to all the technology that keeps cleaning the rays the whole time. There are different things that are available. I won't go into the details now, but that can clean the air of the rays. I'm just giving you this as an example. And not only did it inform me, but when one of my brothers were sick last year, the whole winter, and he takes all the supplements, same question. I asked him, since I was now educated about EMF and looks like it's a sensitivity maybe that's genetic, I asked him, hey, what were you doing different this winter than the winters before? Let me think. He says, yes, I am doing something different. I said, wow. I have a battery pack in my shirt pocket all day from when I wake up until I go to sleep that keeps charging my phone because I use my phone so much that it dies on me. So I have this battery pack. I'm like, this is what's causing you to be sick for the last 3 months. He took it right out, and the rest is history. Thank God. Like he was feeling better. So I'm just saying sometimes we need some insight. And I feel like this bioenergetic testing, and of course Daniela's clarity and guidance and you see, I mean, what do you say to her? She's brilliant and so clear and concise of how she shares her message, and she breaks it down like all these fancy terms, and she just tells you, okay, Shifra, do this and this in simple language. I've been sharing this thing with people, and I've had customers um, or brand new prospect that might have not even bought Shackley if not for Daniela's testing. We just had it now this month. Somebody came with a problem with eczema, and I said, call Daniela after you do the testing. And I probably wouldn't have sold any products if not for the testing. And then she gave him the guidance, and then he came to buy the Shackley products of me. So this is very interesting, and I appreciate the part that Shackley is in the know of it. They're part of it. They're watching it. They're seeing, what the results are and how the Shackley products are being recommended. And if they felt like I needed some extra products for certain of my results, I added on for a short period of time those products as well that Shackley doesn't have. So back to you, Daniela. I hope this was helpful.
Yeah, that was excellent. And just to like kind of piggyback on what you're saying, I think one of the coolest parts of it is that you can really get ahead of things before it's like an all out issue. So sometimes you can go get, a blood test and it shows your thyroid is normal, your hormones look normal, but something doesn't feel right. And this is why it's so great because you're really getting to like the root cause of like troublesome symptoms that you just can't be able to figure out because it's not a DNA test, it's not a blood test. It reveals much more because it's looking at the whole vibrational pattern within the body or like the biofield. And so basically we all have a measurable biofield, and energetic testing measures that energy through the systems, and it's a tool that helps us identify the root causes and imbalances even before it could become an issue. So for me personally, I was, my thyroid panel turned out great. Everything was normal, but I was like feeling cold all the time. I was like losing more hair. I had like a little bit of brain fog. And then I realized from my scan that everything was pointing towards the thyroid, that I need to support it better. And so I took out the food sensitivities that showed up. And I started supplementing with like selenium and vitamin E. And I avoided, a few, I told you, dietary things. And I felt so much better. So this is why it's key. So even someone who is not diabetic yet, I can see if they're showing signs of like blood sugar imbalances. And just like kind of like to recap what it is, when you do the test, you're going to identify resonating stress in relation to imbalances in all organs, nutritional deficiencies, which includes vitamins, minerals, fatty acids, and digestive enzymes. It'll tell me specifically which enzymes you're low in. It could be hydrochloric acid, it could be protease, it could be lipase. You get food and environmental sensitivities, resonating toxins, and that includes like mold, parasites, chemicals, heavy metals, and then your whole hormone panel. So it's very exciting. This is valuable information, which I believe is the foundation to any lifestyle change. and it creates awareness of the exact areas you need to work on. And that's something we would do together. And it's non-invasive, which is great. So it's all through saliva, fingernails, and hair. And you wouldn't believe it. Your hair, your fingernails, it holds on to information up to 6 months. And from this information, we have a detailed report that gets sent to you. It looks like this right here. This is like, for example, your organ systems. So it'll have like your GI, your skin, your liver, your mitochondria, your cardiovascular, your lymph, basically everything. The only thing that doesn't show here is the brain scan, and that's like a separate scan. And that's great for people who are showing signs of dementia, if they have ADHD, issues like that. And it's very easy. I just want to, a few easy steps. You basically order the scan, you get it shipped to your house, you take the hair and saliva sample and you put it in the prepaid envelope, and it goes shipped to the lab. And then the lab will send me a detailed report, which I'll email you. It goes over like everything I mentioned, the environmental sensitivities, toxins, hormone, nutritional imbalances. And then we do a one-on-one. It's about like 1 hour. And I basically make the analysis of all this information and make the connections to why you may be experiencing the symptoms you're having. And you kind of have that like aha moment. Plus you get like a custom nutrition regimen. So it's quite fascinating to understand like the blueprint of your body, root causes of like lurking inflammation, and the appropriate remedies or a combination of remedies. And of course, like the most easiest way also of, seeing if your lifestyle is working for you is how you look and feel. Are you more energetic? Is your hair fuller? Do your nails feel stronger? Is your skin more radiant? Do you have less aches and pains? Are you leaning out? If so, like if all signs point to yes, then you're likely improving from your set point, and keep going. So that is everything. Does anybody have any questions? Or I don't know if you want to leave questions for later and I can get back to them, depending on timing. But thank you for having me on. I hope this was educational.
Yes, it was. Thank you, Daniela. And before we take questions, I just want to ask you, Daniela, to share your longevity test that you did for yourself, like when you took the products, and I think people would like to hear that.
The longevity plan?
When you when you were studying how your body is aging and what happened while you started adding the products.
Yeah. So as I started putting in the product, oh, you're talking about my grades, maybe. Is that what you're getting to? It's crazy. I don't know what's been going on with me, but I've been on the Shaklee products for like 6 years. You guys have been on it. Some people were telling me before the call started, 43 years, 50 something years. It's incredible. But I think I'm almost convinced that because I've been on B complex for so long, and Vivix, green tea extract, and curcuminoids, I've had gray reversals in my hair. I think that is like the proof that there's DNA repair going on, likely from Vivix or a mixture of things. Everyone in my family has gray hair very early, and I'm 43 years old. I have a few patches here, but not much. And I owe it to that, and then also, because since I did my bioenergy testing, my thyroid symptoms have gone away, and I was diagnosed with like 2 different molds. And when I retested, it showed that the mold was gone because I did the remedies recommended, and I'm feeling like so much better in that sense. And so, maybe down the line, I'm going to do a telomere testing. I have not yet done that yet. That would be so cool if Shaklee provided that test, though. But yeah, so all in all, I think we're on to something, and the best way is just to keep on at it. Consistency is key.
Thank you, Daniela. And I think now more than ever, people are exposed to so much information. Like there's so much out there, and it's so confusing that maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, people really trusted what we said, like do this, and they would just follow along. Today, I feel like people, they want to know that a practitioner or a professional is backing it, and it helps build that trust. So Shifra Lefkowitz is not becoming that. She is does whatever she does, right? But we can use those. Ray is laughing. But we can use people like Daniela to back us up. That's the point. The point is we need that support because we have so much competition out there that and so many people are in the dark. Like they're going from chiropractor to kinesiologist to medical doctor to they've tried all these supplements from this company and that company, and they almost don't want to believe us anymore. Like they'll say, I've exhausted all stuff. Like, how do I know? And now I can offer this bioenergetic testing that is so concise and clear. And when the report comes, it's like, this is your saliva. This is your hair and nails saying of what's going on in your body. And this is how we can help you. And then people are really kind of trusting and convinced to
It
go with
becomes
it.
undeniable at that point, you know? It's like it's right here for you. So for them to make a decision not to do it, it's almost like shooting themselves in the foot. You know what I mean? It's like it's there. You have the tools now. So it makes them have to be proactive if they want to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, and there was another interesting thing. I was thinking, like, what's this whole thing about methylated Vital E? Like the methylated bees, I wasn't at all educated about it. Then my daughter did testing with Daniela in the summer, and it came up that she's very deficient in B, and she was taking B complex every day. That gave us a clue that she wasn't absorbing it well. And we put her on the methylated Vital E. And thank God we're seeing a tremendous difference. And, things are improving in the places where she was having shortcomings. So it just gave us some insight where if we went to the doctor and took standard blood work, we would not get this information. So I'm already enjoying the benefits of methylated Vital E. And I don't know how big the population is that needs this product, but if someone is taking B complex and they're very deficient in B, then they need the methylated B to absorb it. So again, going back, this gave us the insight to know this information. And it's so simple to do the test. So, okay, any questions? Barb?
What
Yes,
does
I have a
what
question.
does it what does it
Barb,
cost?
Barb first.
What does it cost, the testing?
Yeah. So the testing costs $449, and that's for the full body scan. And it also includes our 60-minute one-on-one consult. So that pays for the lab to do the analysis, the report, and then the consult.
Okay.
And if you
Thank
think
you.
about it, like because there's so many aspects of this, like if you were to get like a standard blood test, like a hormone scan, environmental test, heavy metals test, a toxin report, an organ report, it would cost like thousands of dollars. So if you think about it that way, it's a great overall price for getting all this information on your body.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How
Jack.
can we order the test? How can we get a participate? What's the link?
To be a practitioner or just to get tested? I like your hat, by the way. Very nice.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's right. All the time. If you want to get tested, maybe we can share my phone number.
I have yours.
Oh, you have it?
I texted you already.
Text coming in. Okay, so then I will reach out to you. And
yeah,
I can
we met in Mexico.
In Mexico, New Mexico?
No, we met on one of the trips.
Oh, we met in Mexico.
Yes.
I can't have to see you with your hair down. Well, hello again.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I'll be in touch with you then, and then I'll show you the steps.
Yeah, I don't know what, necessary to be a practitioner. I'm a pharmacist.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could definitely, if you're interested, after you do your report, if you feel like this is something you want to do on a different level, then yeah, I can introduce you to the person in charge of that.
Wonderful. Is this being recorded? Because I don't see that it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Sarah.
Hi, Shifra. This was a great call. Thank you, Daniela. I'm actually recording this on a different line, and so we have a bunch of participants on the phone here. The phone number, please, for Daniela, for those people who want to test.
Sure. It's area code 310-801-9451.
So here's a question for someone who knows that she has a thyroid issue, and it's just, what's the root of it? What's the cause of it? Would this test show?
Yeah, so the test will show possibly what nutritional deficiencies may be lacking that, are like key nutrients for the thyroid. It could be that she has a heavy toxin load or heavy metals going on that or maybe it's an environmental sensitivity. And then we could also see, like, if she's on medication, is the medication working? Like, her thyroid technically shouldn't show up if the medication's doing its job. And then, if it still is, then yeah, we can it'll definitely show signs of like what are, boggling it down.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
That's interesting.
If anyone thinks of questions later too, you guys can send them to Shifra, or I can just send my email maybe, and I can email you guys directly.
Great. Okay. Anybody a question still before we close out? Linda, did you have a question? Okay. So thank you all for joining us on this OPA call tonight. Thank you, Daniela, for such a great packed information call. I believe that a lot of people will want to listen to this on the archive once word gets out of what amazing information was shared tonight. And I have to say, we're thankful that we have a person like Daniela on our team that could give us insight and really understand of how to improve our health and get some more information of the depth and to enhance the value of the Shaklee product. So thank you all for joining and have a good evening.
Thank you, Danny. It was excellent. Thank you.
Hey, Sarah.